Welcome to the Girls Group Chat podcast with me, Olivia.
Me, Diona.
Me, Jordan.
And me, Shannon.
Do you know what I do at the start of every episode by accident is forget which camera I'm supposed to look at. And
You always look like a deer caught in the headlights.
do you ever see those episodes of like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire and they forget how to wave? Do you know at the start where they have to wave at the camera? Have you ever seen the montage of people having to wave? Oh my god, please go on and Google Who Wants to Be a Millionaire montage of people waving badly, and there's like 100 people who forget how to wave. Do you know it goes like,
so
and
panicked.
Barbara from Devon and Michael from
Devon.
And each person is like someone waves a gat, and another person will be like a seer, and another person's all, and like they just forget how to wave because they get so nervous as soon as the camera comes on. So that's what I do at the start of this. I have to say my name and I'm all, which camera is it?
Yeah. Okay. And you do work in television though.
Yeah, I know. Isn't that funny? I know.
What did you call the game show? And Anne Robinson was it?
The Weakest Link.
But do you remember they'd have to show they'd be like, who do you think the weakest link? And they'd be like Susan, and they'd be like, well, Susan, I think you know fuck all about everything. And Susan would be like,
I was
on
it when I was 19.
Savage. You were on it?
Yeah, when I was 19, and it was so
Jordan.
scary. It was terrifying.
Name a game show Jordan hasn't been on would be quicker.
Love a game show, like not so much now.
Is it not hard to get on them though?
Nah.
You just have the look for it.
See, when you're like a token Northern Irish person, it is easier to get on.
Hey, Britain and Ireland's next top model. That's the only reason I was on there.
Reality TV stars over here.
But any other shows I'd done prior to that, like I did have a wee phase where I loved being on a game show, and all the hosts were always really, really friendly, and it was like a fun day out. But like on the Weakest Link, cause Anne Robinson was that scary presence, you were kept separate from her the whole time. Like when she was on screen, like what you see in the edit is the only time contestants see her. There's no mingling, there's no niceties, and then she turns on like the panto villain for the camera. She is terrifying, right? So she came to me and she was like, and what do you do? And I was like, I'm trained to be a teacher and I like musicals. She's like, sing me something. And I was like, right.
Did you sing?
Yeah. So can
we find this clip?
It's somewhere. Yeah, I went for Defying Gravity from Wicked. Love a musical. So I was
She was an easy song.
Yeah. So I was like, I'm through accepting limits. And she was like, that's not your accent. Sing in a Belfast accent. And I was like,
did you do it? What is this?
I was just like melted on the spot. I was like, I'm through accepting limits. Because someone says they're so...
need to see it.
And then you did a sketch about it recently and I was like, triggered.
How funny, because I'm pretty sure, and I'll tell you what, I actually recorded that video right outside this building when I was in here recording a different podcast one time, and I am all, I'm through accepting them. It's because the thing is whenever people from here sing, they immediately strip themselves of anything that would remind you that where they're from, and they just all sound English and American.
I reckon you saw that episode 12 something years ago and went, wow, that's the inspiration for this video. It subconsciously came back to you. But the round that I got voted off, I deserved to be voted off. I certainly was the weakest link, but every other fucker voted for me, and it was so damaging to my self-esteem just to hear Jordan. I was like,
who did you vote for?
Mike
or whatever.
Mike's like, fuck off, Jordan.
Actually, he's like, see ya.
I'm the smartest one now. You're like, Mike's a bastard.
I was devastated getting voted off, but
Mike
was
can't
officially
even sing.
like, where was his audition? I was officially the weakest link.
I hate that she's like, sing me something then. Like, see if you went on there and you were like, I'm a builder, she wouldn't go build me a wall.
You don't know though, she's a very hard woman. She might have.
But you know that sort of like, that's what people do when you work in the, like when people, I meet someone to go, oh, you're a comedian, they go, tell me a joke. And you're all, I'm like, pay me right now then, because that is my actual job. You give me money and I will write you a joke. Personally, I'll do it personalised, and also I don't do jokes, I do bits, so they're minutes long. You know what I mean? It's not like I'm not like a man walked down to a pub. Exactly.
So if someone called your bluff and said, all right, here's 20 quid, would you do them a bit on the spot?
No, because I'd be like, it's worth more than 20 quid.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah, but even like you do some, I'm a nail technician. You don't just immediately go like, right, well, do my nails right now. Show me.
I would.
Show me.
Please.
It's like so disrespected, the creative industry. They're just like, do it for free right now. Like I was at a family wedding a few weeks ago, and like somebody there was all, oh, I hope you don't get up and start doing some material. And I was like, I definitely won't.
Don't you worry about it.
Don't be counting on it.
Like, why would I do that? Do you know what I mean? Nobody wants to hear that.
I'm just thinking though, I do definitely ask Olivia frequently to fix my hair. So sorry.
I'm still
free
dying
labour
to get a wig on.
Yeah.
We have to do a wig episode
where
everyone's in wigs.
Would I be really difficult to do because I have like 3 people's worth of extensions in my head?
No, you just French plait it.
My head will be about this size.
That'll be grand.
We're doing a wig episode.
It is only like 2 weeks till my birthday, so we need to get Disney princess dresses and wigs sorted.
Yes, we do for our next recording actually.
Yeah. if anyone wants to help us out.
Do we have to be princesses or can we be villains?
Or
do we have to be?
Also, anyone from Disney, and I don't think we should tell each other who we're going to be. I think that's
okay.
That's a better way to do it.
Can we? Obviously, if you want to be a princess, you can be a princess. But could you be like
the teapot
or like the Dalmatian?
Yes. That's what we're going to do. I'm going to arrive
Pocahontas' granny,
as the fucking teapot.
Yes, I loved her.
The willow
what
tree.
an icon.
The willow tree. If
She
I was
was
going to have a
Grandmother Willow.
Yeah, she was class.
Just wear no pants and a red crop top and be Winnie the Pooh. Let the belly hang out. You know, hungry little bear that I am. I'll probably not do that. But yeah, right. Okay, that's it.
Yeah. I'll bring wigs.
Potluck Disney characters.
Yeah.
Oh, I wish that we could just like totally not see each other till the moment we sit down.
I know.
Obviously, we all have to arrive.
It's not going to happen. But
Where's our
listen,
producer? Can you facilitate that? Can you usher us all in under a cloak?
can you organise 4 private rooms?
So then, for my birthday episode, can we do wigs?
Yes.
Okay,
Oh my
great.
God. 100%.
For mine, can we just have a nap or get booked?
Yeah, perfect. What would you like for your birthday? What's your birthday wish on the
Glow
pod?
sticks.
Glow stick.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We all go to Magaluf to BCM.
We all go to my glue.
Please.
Record an episode. there
Jordan's
with
like,
David
I'm
Guetta.
sick that day.
God. Yes, wigs, Disney, to be decided. Nap, just perfect.
What is your dream game show to go on?
Oh,
That you would absolutely love to.
I love catchphrase.
Love catchphrase.
Catchphrase.
On Challenge, I would watch it with my granda all the time. I love it.
Oh yes.
Yeah, it's so good and it's doable. Like it's not,
And there's been like different presenters, but it's always still remained pretty good.
and
Yeah.
the prices are class. Absolutely.
I'm
epic.
doing. What do you call it? Mastermind.
Oh, the celebrity one, are
yeah.
you? She's big time now.
Big
What's your
time.
specialist subject?
I don't know if I'm allowed to say.
Oh,
Oh fuck it. Home Alone movies.
class.
Oh, really?
But like all of them?
No, first 3. Only ones with Macaulay Culkin.
Okay.
I wanted it to be 90s or early 2000s girl bands. And they're like, it's too vague. It's been done before. Also, every single thing has been done. I would have done The American Office, but your guy from The Inbetweeners did it a few years ago.
But
And you can't do a topic. It's been done in the past 5 years.
Macaulay Culkin's not in Home Alone 3.
Well, it's only the first and second then.
Okay, great.
That's one
Perfect.
movie
2
less I
movies
have to
learn.
watch.
Happy days.
The first and the second. And also my daughter buzzes off Home Alone. So I thought it might be nice for her someday when she's older she can watch it. And
Yeah,
I'm
true.
answering all the questions about
So-
Home Alone.
questions about it. Can
Yeah.
it be anything about it?
Yes.
So like it could be about like the production team.
Absolutely.
Oh, can I tell you a fun fact about Home
Yes,
Alone then?
please.
Do you know the bit where Kevin looks at Buzz's girlfriend in the frame and he goes, Buzz, your girlfriend, woof.
That is one of the producers, a guy,
Sons
and they morphed
in a
him
wig.
into a wig.
Yeah,
into
because-
a girl.
So it's basically implying that
I've
this
been doing my research, guys.
this little girl's unattractive and they didn't want to actually cast a little girl in the role because they didn't want to be like telling a child they were ugly, so they put a wig on a wee boy instead.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Interesting.
that's my contribution. If you win, I'll take half the money.
And do you know one of the bad guys? So the guy who plays Marv, he wasn't in it originally. So the tall, skinny one,
Yeah.
another actor played that role for 2 weeks, and they shot loads of scenes.
Oh my god,
And
yes.
they
I've
were
heard
like,
quite a few
this
movies
is
done like this.
They were like, this is not
And they
working
did it again.
But they originally wanted him, the guy who does play Marv now, and he wouldn't accept the role because they weren't going to pay him enough. And he said no, and he just wouldn't do it. And then they went back to him, and they were like, "We'll give you more money because we've been filming with this other guy, and it's not working."
That's
and
a
the
big
other
girl.
guy got kicked out. Isn't that
Oh,
crazy?
You'd be raging if you were your fella.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
that is that industry. It is the ultimate
That's showbiz, baby.
But that's showbiz, baby. But it's like that, and I can resonate with that. It's like the constant rejection. Like you put a lovely lovely thing up today on our Instagram. You'd asked about people seeing rejection as a form of redirection.
Jordan's like, what did I?
I think somebody did.
I did.
think it
And
was Jordan.
Jordan does do nice graphics, so it might have been Jordan. But I don't know how that actor feels now because I'm sure he's going, well, that was a massive franchise, and I don't see that as redirection whatsoever because I'm like I haven't been in a movie since. But yeah, he didn't get that part. I will share with you it's similar vein in that one of the biggest rejections that I've experienced in my life that broke my heart.
Oh.
And it was Dairy Girls.
Oh.
Because I was originally up for Michelle, who is played by and should be played by no one else other
curly hair.
than Jamie Lee O'Donnell.
Yeah.
And she plays it brilliantly. And I remember when I heard that Dairy Girls was happening a year before it was shot.
Yeah.
They released it at the Edinburgh Film Festival in September. They normally announce, here's the new TV shows that have been commissioned that are being shot next year.
We are so excited that That Prize Guy is a proud sponsor of the Girls Group Chat podcast. If you haven't heard about That Prize Guy competitions, Come out from under your rock.
The current competitions are 70k cash, 50k cash and 40k cash. They give these away almost every single day, and they give away cars such as Land Rover Defenders, Audis Q3 and the most unreal holiday destinations like Mexico.
And you can get in touch for like wedding favours and private event competitions. There's loads of instant win competitions on the website, so you literally enter, and if you just the money goes into your account there and then, which is obviously class. And you might even join loads of people who are now millionaires thanks to that prize guy.
Absolutely class. So go give yourself a chance to win. Head to thatprizeguy.co.uk and please remember to play responsibly. Keep it fun.
I seen Derry Girls and I was like, what? A comedy about girls from Derry? Sign me up. I thought I have to be in this. I found Lisa McGee's contact online, emailed her and was like, I need to be in your show. I have to be in this. And she was like, well, send me your stuff and we'll have a look. And then she's like, yeah, we'll definitely get you auditioned for whatever. So then like the next year, my agent like sent me through the audition for Michelle part. And obviously it's like one of the leads. And I was like, and that the part, I was like, oh my God, I can play this with my eyes shut. This is amazing. This is perfect for me. And I did a brilliant audition and I know it was good. Everyone in the room was pissed themselves laughing and went so well. But like so soon afterwards, the word went through to my agent. They were like, she does not look young enough. That meant to be 15. Yeah. And they were like, there's no way in this world we could cast her. That wasn't me
being like, yeah.
No, I know.
You're meant to be a teenager.
They were all the other girls that were shortlisting are like 5'5" below. She's so tall. And like I was curvier then too. And like she looks like a woman. Like she's not. And at the time, like, you know, it doesn't matter what your real age is. It's what your playing age is on screen. And they were like, we just cannot fit her in this. Like she just doesn't look young enough. And I remember getting that phone call. And I was standing outside the Lamb Derg on Hannah's Town Hill, which is a social club. And I was doing a Christmas play in there on a stage that was made out of 20 tables stacked side by side. And I was devastated. Aww. I remember crying. I was just about to start the show, but I was all, what am I doing? What am I doing? I thought like the months before, like during this process, I was like planning my life. I was like, I'm going to be a lead in a big Channel 4 hit TV show made by the same people that made Father of Ted. It's going to be life changing. It's going to be amazing. And I was like, and also I'm made for this. I was like, this is it. Like, how could this could be like, couldn't be more perfect. And I remember getting that phone call just before I had to go on stage, and I cried into Sean's arms, and I was so gutted because he was in the show too, funnily enough. And went and done the show, but then thankfully they obviously then were like, we still want you to, like, we'll find something for you, like we want, you know. And then they got offered me the part of Katya, the Ukrainian. Now, because even though she's a teenager, it was sort of nondescript. She was like this weird big foreign Ukrainian girl. It didn't really matter with a clip on fringe and all. They were just like,
but I loved your character.
So
yeah, and it was so memorable.
Yeah, because it was the only guest lead in that series. So it was like the only person that came in and had like a storyline. So it was a really fun part to play. And the very first day my very first day of filming was the very first day ever of Derry Girls that was shot. So the very first scene that was ever shot in anything of Derry Girls is one of my scenes in a chippy where me and the 5 lead cast and your friend Michael, who plays Clive or Clyde or whatever, we're all in there. And then also what do you call me since saying nothing? Fucking from West Belfast.
Not Rafi.
Not Rafi. How do I not know his name?
Me and Olivia sat here like,
do you know what I mean?
I know exactly.
So Anthony Boyle,
that's the one.
So we were all, that was the very first scene. I remember us all sitting there going, like, is this show going to be big? Like,
did it feel like it was going to be
special?
Yes,
it did, because the scripts were fucking hilarious and everyone in the room was so talented and all the actors were perfect for their roles. And I remember looking around going, this is going to be huge. Yeah. And so there was so much put into it. And on the very first day, there was gifts for us in our trailer from Lisa, and it was just lovely. And I remember just looking around going, like, so I was there on the very first day of the whole thing, so it was part of that magic of it starting. But even though obviously any actor or any comedian wants to be the lead in something, like, of course that's a dream. Yeah. But I would not have started stand-up had I got the lead in that, had I been a lead in Derry Girls.
That's so true.
Because I would have been off doing that. Whereas I actually, after that was the biggest career rejection I'd faced. And I remember, and it wasn't even it was a rejection, but it was more like, you know, we'll find something else for you. But anyway, and I remember really, like, thinking I'd put all my eggs in this basket, and I hadn't even considered stand-up at this point. And I remember just thinking, I have a hot and healthy obsession with this being my success, and it's actually really damaging to my mental health. And everybody I followed online was an actor who was more successful than I.
Yes.
And it was damaging. I had to unfollow all those people who were only sharing their own successes, but for me, following them, that wasn't good for me. And I remember going, there's too many gatekeepers in this acting world where I'll only be able to be audition for something if somebody allows me to get that audition. If somebody invites me in, I'll only get that part if I meet a million different criteria, because there are hundreds of people that are all perfect for the same role, but you might be too tall, too short, too skinny, too curvy,
nowadays,
too
not
whatever,
enough followers,
all
whatever.
the thing. So I was like, there's too many like things and hurdles, and I was like, do you know what? I need to do something that I am completely in charge of, where there's not
completely
necessarily
you.
Yeah, and I was like, stand up is definitely a healthier world for me to be in, where I'm like, I will get out of it what I put into it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's not as many gatekeepers. Like, you could be the best actor in the world, but most likely you will never be in something huge because of a million different variables. Where stand-up's a bit more different to that. You can go out and gig in all the clubs all the time. You know what I mean?
I always think that whenever I see like exceptionally talented like local actors, even if it's in something like Amdram or, you know, hear an amazing busker in the street and stuff, I'm like, there's actually not a difference in your talent level with probably someone who's like maybe won an Oscar or who's got like a #1 album.
Absolutely.
It's right place,
100%.
right time, right?
Especially in singing, I actually find like local singers to be a million times better than some of the biggest worldwide singers. And it's just because maybe they haven't had a break, they haven't had certain people behind them, their look. And it, you know, sometimes it's not based on talent.
No.
Oh, it's largely not, because there are so many talented people and only a certain amount of them can, you know, earn a living out of whatever that is. Like, even just like being born in the right era, in the right time, like
The right area.
Yeah. Like, if you look at like, say, people who are in like the in-betweeners or big TV shows, if they'd have been born 5 years earlier or 5 years later, they wouldn't be on that show.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So
I'm so into like everything happening at the
For a
exact
reason.
right time. The exact, like, do you know the burnt toast theory?
Yes.
Yeah, where like if you didn't burn your toast that morning, it didn't make you like 2 minutes late to leave the house. then you might not have
Something bad would
bumped
have
into this
happened.
person, or something bad might have happened. I'm so into all that. You had something on your stories about that recently, where like not that exact thing, but you were glad something
it was
had
like a wee
happened or
quote,
hadn't
and it was
happened.
like, I'm so glad that the thing you wanted to work out didn't work out, because I just feel like my whole life has been a series of like things that didn't work out, and then it's led to this. So obviously, like, the main one being my hair fell out, but also when I went to grammar school, and my whole time in school, it was just like, the goal is uni. We were like, you're going to uni, you're going to do this job, and uni seemed like, when you're 17, it's just like the biggest thing in the world. We're all going to go to uni, we're all going to be successful. And I thought success was going to be me going to uni, getting a great job, whatever else. And I didn't get into any of my uni courses, like 0 of them. And I didn't pass any of my interviews. I have never passed a job interview in my life.
That's wild.
Ever.
I find that shocking though, because you're such a good people person and such a good talker.
So I decided that I wanted to do makeup like 10 years ago, but in school, like, if I'd have said this to someone, also we've already talked about the funeral director scenario. Like, I was having a minute, but I always knew I wanted to do makeup. But I kind of was like, it was at the time nobody was a makeup artist. You were either a beautician or you weren't. So, and I didn't want to be a beautician. I just wanted to do makeup. And then when I didn't get into uni, I eventually got into uni through clearing. I really had to like peer pressure people to let me into uni, like the uni themselves. When I was in uni, I was like, I fucking hate this actually. Like, I don't even know why I wanted to be here, because I hate it. And I started doing makeup, and I went for a job interview at like a local salon.
Okay.
And I'd already failed loads of job interviews, and I went, and the girl, she was really, really nice, but I knew I was good at makeup. And she was like, you know, like, have you done any courses? I was like, yeah, I've done a course with LMD, Louise McDonald. And she was like, and how did you find it? And I was like, yeah, found it on Facebook. It was really, really easy. Like, you just booked through a link, and yeah, it was really, really easy. And it's also like, it was in the middle of our felt, so it was really handy to get to. And she looked at me like I had 17 heads.
Oh my God.
And I left, like, my ma left me to the job interview because I was fucking 17. And she was like, how'd you get on? I was like, on here. I have a job, mummy. Say less. But I obviously didn't get that job. Obviously, because she thought I was fucking dense. So I didn't get that job. But I remember not getting that job and being like, oh. But it was just after I didn't get into uni as well. And there's so much screaming at you going, it's you're not good enough.
Yeah.
Because our whole school life was like, you have to go to uni, you have to do this, you have to do that. And when you don't get into uni, it's like, that's on me. Because I did really well in my A-levels. I failed on the interview. So it was like, they don't like me.
Did you have to do an interview for uni?
Yeah, I had to do an interview for all of my courses.
What were you applying for?
I didn't arts and shit.
I mean, I did drama and nobody interviewed me for that.
I did an interview for like interactive multimedia design, fine art, art foundation.
Cheapers.
What was the other one I did? Then I got into through clearing to my uni course, and like I have a degree that I never fucking used.
Same.
But
well, my degree's in drama.
But like, it's so funny. I don't think I'd ever have done makeup if I had just got into uni straight in.
We are delighted to introduce our sponsor, Iconic Bronze. If you haven't heard of Iconic Bronze, it is a tanning and cosmetics brand founded right here in Ireland by the lovely Linda Stinston.
I've been a brand ambassador for Iconic Bronze for 7 years. I actually started using their products when I was in uni, and myself and Emma Kearney created a collection over 3 years ago now, and these are actually my lashes.
Fancy!
I know, they're unreal.
Their
products are class.
I have to say, I have only started using this recently. Their instant body makeup, incredible.
That sort of thing's
incredible.
a lifesaver.
I'm a big fan of a body makeup. All their products are luxurious without the hefty price tag. They're also vegan and PETA approved and award winning as well. So you can't really go wrong with Iconic Bronze.
And we have all of our listeners a 30% off code. Ooh. If you use the code GirlsGroupChat on the site, 30% off all of the goods at iconicbronze.ie. Woohoo! Well, exactly, because you'd have then done the course that you thought was the right thing to do to lead to a career, to lead to consistent money. Yeah. Like whenever I was applying for, so whenever I was in school and I was doing my levels, I also did really well academically in school. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, the teachers were like, it was like if you did well academically in a grammar school, they were like, oh, so you're going to do either science or law.
Too, yeah.
You know,
same.
Yeah. So it was like, you're going to do law. So then I was like, okay, I'll do law with Spanish. And that's something that I was genuinely going to apply for whenever I was in upper sixth. And most parents would not give this advice to their child. My daddy was like, are you mad? That is not what you want to do. You're seeing money signs, or you're seeing a career that's like consistent or like dependable. He goes, you want to be an actor? Go study drama. Yeah. He goes, doesn't matter if you haven't got a penny your whole life, go do what you love doing.
Do something that you love and it'll not feel like work.
Yeah. Exactly. And he gave me that advice and I was like, right, okay, that's what I'll do. And then the rest is history.
But I think when you do something that you love, it always ends up into different things because you're always like pushing your way through. Like I think with that whole like academic, the struggles of it, like I really had to work to be good at, like I'm not naturally academic, but I went to a grammar school and we didn't have choices other than to be. Yeah. So I was always fighting to be better. And then I think in my work now, I'm always like, nothing's ever good enough for me. I'm always like, I'll never
improve.
Like I hit like massive achievements and I'm like, it's not good enough. I need to do something else. I need to keep going. Keep going.
Perfectionist.
Do you know? I never feel like I've done enough.
I'm the same.
You know, and then I think people, I don't know, but then nothing ever really excites me. Then I'm just like, that's a great grand.
That's the thing. I'm going to word it really badly, but I saw a thing recently that was like, you're never happy with the things you achieve because you keep setting new goals.
New goals, yeah. The bar is always getting higher.
So you're never sitting. I
always try and remind myself, like I don't know, maybe I've spoke about this before. Like, there's so many big goals people have in life, and then I feel like they're reaching so far for them that they miss out on the small goals that they've achieved. You have to appreciate the small goals as well. Yeah. But I always remind myself of that. Like, I'm always conscious of it and be like, okay, we're still working on this, but like, look at this that happened. And you know, it's not as big and it's not massive, but you have to, you know,
but then there's something in the psychology, I think, too, of the journey. It's the journey of success or something. I think I heard it on like Diary of a CEO or something like that, where they talked about like the psychology of the journey to success is actually where you get your endorphins or your dopamine hit, or where you get the buzz, because most people you see, once they get to the destination, they have earned a fortune, or they have their Netflix special or whatever it is, that when they're there they're like uneasy, you can't sit on it because you're like, well, what now? You know. And it was actually the journey that was the best part, which is easy to say from your, you know, villa in the Maldives when you got your net, but it's not when you're doing the hustle. But you know, the guys now in like green rooms at comedy clubs all the time, like even last night I was gigging, who was I talking to about it? Mickey Bartlett, Denisha and Akbar, and we were all talking about like, fuck, we're living the dream. We get to do what we love doing all the time. Yeah. Like, that is, you could be earning fuck all money from it, or great money from it. Either end of the spectrum, you're just living the dream. Yeah. To get to like I absolutely love the hustle. Yeah. Like, I love getting out, trying out shit in a comedy club, standing up and saying things and it not going right and going away and making it work better and going back out. And that is the hustle. And I love that.
Gets you going.
That's the buzz. If it gets to the point where it's like everything you say is cracker and doesn't need work done, then you'd be like, well, what do I do?
You've lost the excitement.
What do you do? You know?
I think that's one thing, because we all do stuff that we love, and we've been
so
fortunate. Well, fortunate, and we've worked hard. You know, I think it's like okay to acknowledge that you've worked hard to get to where you are, but like, of course, we've been in the right place at the right time, met great people, had loads of amazing opportunities, but everything. Any job that anybody has, even if you think like, God, how could you ever get sick of that? Everything becomes your normal, right? So every single day I go in and talk on the radio. If you told me that was going to be my job 10 years ago, I'd have been like, as if, oh my God, I should be so lucky. Whereas now that's like my total normal. And I forget when I meet people for the first time, they're like, God, you're a radio presenter. What's that like? And I'm like, oh,
it's quite
sure,
unique.
you know, I'm just on the radio.
Yeah.
But I think, you know, you do have to give yourself a pinch every now and again and go like, remember, you're really lucky, you're really grateful, nothing's guaranteed in this life.
Do you know, I remember
gratitude.
when you got the breakfast show.
Do you?
And did you remember me messaging you? Didn't make that much of a fucking impact.
It was 6 years ago, check. There's been a lot.
I remember, and I'd only met you a handful of times, but I remember after you were started on the breakfast show, and I messaged you, and you weren't on the radio that long, and you had this great show, and I remember messaging you being like, this is your thing. I was like, you're brilliant.
I do remember this.
I was like, I think you're so good at this, and I think that you speak with your own voice, which is a lot of radio presenters don't, and it really grinds my gears when they do that. I really dislike that. But because you're speaking as you so naturally, I think you're great. It's why you've got a podcast now. You're a natural born talker. But I remember being like, she's a breath of fresh air on the radio because she's not going on like a radio presenter. She's doing herself, and it's great. You know what I mean?
Oh, thanks. Well, I credit like failures, rejections, redirections, whatever, with how we know each other, how I'm literally sitting here right now. It's mad.
Just before we started this podcast, I remember talking to you, and she was like, you and I have had many seasons, and I was like, oh, that is like, it's in our careers.
You're like, the next one's just around the corner. But I dropped out of uni to do makeup. So I was the same, went to school, thought like, uni's the only option.
We've all had a makeup moment.
I ended up
Diona really had her stints doing bridals.
Oh yeah.
You were there before all of us.
Bridal makeup artist. I am the OG makeup artist in this room.
But yeah, I knew I wanted to drop out of uni, and I'll spare like all the details, but I dropped out of my uni course. Mum and Dad were like, well, what are you going to do now? And sort of on a whim, I was like, makeup. I'm going to do a makeup course, because I used to babysit for the lady who went on to be my makeup teacher and then boss, Una Bowman. Shout out to her. She's like the most amazing person ever. But I used to babysit for her. Saw she had a lovely lifestyle. I was like, sure, I'll go do makeup. Try to be a bit of crack. Same thing as you when you were at school. No one was just doing makeup then. People were like, that's going to be your job, doing makeup? Are people going to pay for that? I was like, I hope so. So I went and did this with really no plan. Ended up working for Una for years then after that, with best experience. Ended up getting booked to do Diona's makeup for the cover of a magazine.
I think you still recall that as a career highlight.
It was
that day.
Well, I went home and posted on Facebook, total girl crush alert, got to do makeup for this star from Britain and Ireland's Next Top Model. I was like starstruck to meet you and Sean. Still am to this day. And
which was on the Empire stage as well. They were mixing comedy into it, and I wasn't a comedian. Oh, but I was doing sketches at the time.
That's
so I
right.
suppose I was in the comedy world. Yeah.
But yeah, like that's how we met, and then we became Facebook friends, and like loosely kept in touch over the years, and now here we are. The rest is history. And also through doing makeup, I got into radio, because I did the makeup for Q Radio's billboards. Met the late great Stephen Clements doing his makeup. We had a chat, and it wasn't as easy as all this, but he was like, God, like, you have a good personality, you should be on the radio. I was like, oh, I wish.
Planted the seed, maybe.
I mean, I'd always been into entertaining and doing my musicals and stuff like that, and hosting events, but I just thought that's not something people can make into a career. I wish. And then down the line, 6 months, a year later, he said, friend to friend, there might be a wee opening coming up at Q, like, why don't we get a demo made for you? And he opened the door for me.
Wow.
Then
that's amazing.
Yeah.
If anyone you want to open the door for you would have been Stephen Clements.
Like, oh my God,
that is unreal.
Yeah. Crazy.
Do you not remember T4?
No.
June Sarpong.
June Sarpong
And the big tall guy. Was that where Vernon Kay started?
Yes.
Yeah.
And Mila, no, not Mila. What do you call your girl who's like an activist? She's London Asian.
Jamila Jamil.
She started. They all started. Do you not know who these people?
Okay, Oliver. Yeah.
Makita Oliver. That's who it is. It's called Mila. It's Makita Oliver. So this is like a big Channel 4 Sunday morning like fun show where they did like fun segments, and like it was on for like 3 or 4 hours, but it was like the coolest thing whenever we were going up this cool. But they had like a nationwide search for the new presenter, but you had to like submit your audition via just posting it on YouTube.
This is another thing we need to find.
Is it on YouTube?
Is it on YouTube
Do you know
still?
why? Because yes, but I think it's because it was uploaded on somebody else's account because I didn't know YouTube at the time, and
So
it
you
was
were like, you have a
random.
YouTube, let
So
me
I got my
use it.
friend uploaded that I was living with, and it's on there somewhere. I have seen it since, so I know it's there. And by the way, like, and it's the stupidest thing. It goes to it's like my friend sitting on the ground, I'm on the ground pretending to be unhoused, and I have a blanket around me, and I'm all, oh, and then I like jump up and I go, that's the future me. If you don't let me be a T4 presenter,
We need to see
so
this.
dark. And then I'm all,
Right.
I know why you won't let me be the presenter. It's because I have a bob. And then I go on to completely annihilate myself about my shit hairdo because this all coming back to me as I'm speaking, right? I had my first paid modelling job a few weeks before where I went to Italy for Alpha Perf.
Nice.
And they like cut this helmet hairdo into me. It was the most rotten thing ever. It was like a full helmet, but I was
Wait.
like, I'm off to Italy.
Is that photo? Did they use that photo on their stuff?
Who?
I feel
Alpha
like I can
Parf.
picture it.
Oh yeah, they would do, yeah.
No, I've definitely seen that photo and thought
I'll
she
Hulk
looks
out.
like Diona,
It's a
but I didn't
profile
know
shot.
if it was you or not.
Yeah.
Like I just thought that woman looks like
Looks like
Diona.
Diona.
I
with
don't know if
terrible
they're
hair.
still using it because this was
No,
like
but this was like a
12 years ago.
Yeah, like maybe this was. I'm thinking like when I had hair 8 years ago.
Probably.
So like
Yeah.
a while ago.
I'll,
No,
I'll-
that's amazing.
I'll
that's
hook
you.
out the photograph and see if it's the same one you're talking about, but it is rare. And but anyway, so I have this random stupid, but it looks like an actual helmet on my head, and I'm doing this whole bit, but then I got shortlisted. I went to London and did a screen test and all
No
for them. I
way.
swear to God. And there was another fella there from here who we all know, who I can't remember his name now. Probably if he's listening to this, going, you cheeky bitch.
Liam Neeson.
No, he is listening. He will find out. He's got very particular set
Oh,
of
I'm
skills.
dying to know who it was. Did he win? Or?
No, another girl got it who was absolutely off her baps. Brilliant entertainment. Like like I remember then watching her that summer on like she was like covering all the festivals and she was like Judas like larger than life, run around crazy, like she was class, and I was like, okay,
Fair
I was
enough,
never
yeah.
gonna have that amount
Lot
of
of
fire up
energy,
my
yeah.
arse to run around there to be knackered. But yeah, so I did end up going and doing a screen test in London for it, but I didn't want to be a presenter. At the time, as we were
It
saying
was
about
something.
it was
the crack.
I was just like,
YOLO.
I'll see where this goes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but that's where you've landed in comedy, as you said earlier, about like getting the rejection redirection from
Yeah.
Dairy Girls. You know, I think when you're a creative and you're an entertainer, you're like, maybe this is my thing, maybe that's
Yeah,
my
trying
thing. I never
everything.
knew radio present would be my thing, and now I love it.
Yeah.
more
To
than
To be fair,
anything.
I would have been like that. Like this is the first time I've done anything, like even in front of a camera in my whole life, like doing social media.
Yeah.
The first time ever. I have had a million jobs. One thing I was good at was an interview. So I could talk my way into anything. But one of my last jobs, before I like started social media seriously, I started posting a few videos here and there, and like the whole thing about rejection, I had basically went to my boss, and at the time I was working like mental overtime hours, but I'd started doing my wee videos and I was really enjoying it, and I just went to him and I was like, look, is there any way that I can just work my contracted hours? Like, I want to spend a bit of time doing my social media. I'm starting to like make a bit of money from it, and I'm massive on, I feel like employers should be happy for you to become the best version of yourself.
Yeah.
I was told, no, my business comes first. And that is what put the fire up my ass to be like, I'm going to make this a job and I'm going to leave here. Now, I ended up leaving and I went somewhere else to work part-time, doing the same thing, and they were amazing. And it was just that little comfort blanket.
Yeah.
But that comment is what gave me the fire up my ass to be like, I'm going to do this as a job.
Yeah.
Completely turned
Taking
on.
that plunge.
But that's what pushed
But
me
that's
to do it.
amazing, because that could really have gone one way or another. And like, you know, rightly so, a lot of people just crave security,
Yeah.
which is totally understandable, especially in this climate. You could have gone, all right, well, I just better focus on my 9 to 5.
I did consider it.
and you
I
might
did
not
consider
be here
it.
right now.
I did think, oh, maybe this is what I should be doing. But don't get me wrong. Also, any job I've been in, I will put my 100% into it. I do believe if you're being given the privilege to work for someone, you should be trying to make their business as good as possible.
Yeah.
But all I was asking for was to work my contracted hours, and that's when I went, I'm just a number to you.
Yes.
Which is the reality in a lot of jobs.
I did that thing and I took the plunge and been like, I am an actor, nothing else. I mean, I'd say 5 years before I was earning enough money to do that. And I got myself in so much debt. Like up to my eyeballs paying, because I was like, I refused to do anything else. No, seriously, I was like, I've done enough of the stuff that I hate doing and this is all I'm going to do. And I was like, someday it'll work out. And I mean, so much debt. And then it just all worked out, and then I was able to like literally in 1 year pay off all my debt. One time I was like, okay, it's working out now, it's fine. But I do not advise anyone to do that. Yeah. Like me and Sean talk about it all the time, but we were cheeky bastards thinking I was like trying to pay my like rent and all. I was all, I swear I'm a really good actor, I'll make this money back someday. Like it took, I'd say 3 or 4 years before I was able to actually earn a living, and during that whole time just in debt, and it was brutal,
which
but
it was worked out,
but it picked
incredible,
the fire up my arse, because I never had a plan B or a backup plan, and I refused to do like I had loads of other jobs I absolutely loved doing. Like genuinely, I loved working in Debenhams and doing the makeup. I thought it was the most fun job. See, when I walk past Debenhams, no, I know they were brutal, but see, when I walk past like a perfume shop or a cosmetics place at Christmas, oh my god, the smell of it, the nostalgia brings me right back, and I'm like, fuck, I had a ball working on there. I loved it. Do you know? Because also, I've never had a staff do.
Oh, we'll have one this Christmas.
Thank you very much. I've never had a staff do.
Yes,
no, the comedians we do want a night out every Christmas, but usually it's during when I'm doing the blame game and I have to come over at like 10 o'clock and join everyone. Everyone's been pie-eyed since 3 in the afternoon, and I'm like, well, I'm driving, and
we can do one
we'll
this year.
I've never been in a job as a permanent employee over Christmas, so I've never been.
No way.
No, I've never had a staff do.
Oh wait, Christmas is a while away. You might not still be here.
No, I know.
We'll do your 6 months assessment.
All of our listeners on our staff do.
Yes, that'd be lovely.
100,000 of them.
But I think it's good to acknowledge there what you said of like, you know, you wouldn't advise that to anyone.
way.
Like it's all well and good being like, it works out, live your dream. But I think people also have to keep like a head on their shoulders.
I think you more take what you should be taking away from it is, if you really want something, you will be able to do it.
You can chip away at it in the background.
You can't and that's, people say it all the time. I know things might sound really unreachable, but I do believe that if you want something enough, now I'm not being unrealistic, like I want to win the lottery, but if you want to do something, you will do it if you work hard enough at it.
A lot of the time what's standing in your way of things, I think, to a degree, is your mindset.
Self-doubt.
Is your self-doubt, because as you're saying about, you feel like you were going into things feeling that you weren't good enough because you'd had those couple of rejections. Yeah. And do you ever see that? And it feeds into your decisions after that then, because you're like, oh, I can't have that. That's not for me because I'm not good enough. And you sort of, do you ever see that video? And there's a word for it, and I can't remember what it is. It's a psychology test where they put, say, 5 people on one side of the room, 5 people on the other side of the room, and they give them words to what's the, do like letters
Associate?
Letters are all jumbled up, an anagram, and they have to then make the word out of it. And on one side of the room, it's really, really easy. It's words like, you know, cat or top or bin, or that are ones that are like 3 or 4 letter words that are really easy to then figure out what they are. And on this side of the room, the opposite side, they do really complicated words, the first and second one, that are actually impossible to make into a word. So what happens is, in the first word and the second word, one side of the room, whenever they get the word, they put their hand in the air and they're feeling delighted with themselves. They got it so quick. They think they have the same words as the people on the other side of the room. And the people on the other side of the room are looking at one side going, how the fuck did they get this so quick? It's impossible to do. And they can't get the answer because it is impossible. On the third word, everyone in the room has the same word. It's really easy. What you'll find is, psychologically, the people who got the first 2 words correct because they were easy, they get correct for the third time. And the people on the other side, who should be able to because it's really easy, cannot get it because they have been told 2 times in a row, you do not get this, you're stupid, and all those people over there are smarter than you.
That's really
so
interesting.
they've blocked their own mind and they can't figure out the third one, even though it's dead easy. So that's something to be said about. The more times you have been told you're a failure, it's like with people, that you are what you're told, you are what you tell yourself. More times you hear nasty things about yourself, or you hear things that you're not able to do, you believe that and you become that. And that is like psychology.
Have I ever spoke to her about before? She's called Aoife Farrell, but her name on TikTok's like Mia Khalifa.
Oh, she's so funny.
She was on my podcast with me and Kegs before, and she done psychology, and she was talking about, we would, you know, as women, you joke and you kind of go, oh, I look so fat. like, or you're having a shit day, see you saying them things, even though you don't really fully believe it, you saying that out loud tricks your brain into believing it. So she lives by doing the opposite. Even if she thinks like, oh, I don't look good today, out loud she'll stand in the mirror and be like, I am fucking gorgeous, kind of like, what do you call it, affirmations, but she says it out loud. She'll make videos being like, I know I'm fucking gorgeous, and your brain subconsciously then also starts to believe that side of it.
Yeah.
So it's so important to like speak kindly to yourself.
I feel like I'm having a bit of a like epiphany right now. So
I love it.
like, do you know the way, like, obviously I was doing makeup, and at the time when I was doing makeup, people were like, that's not a stable job, because it was like the new thing that everyone was a beautician and I was just a makeup artist. So in my brain, I was like, I have to work double hard to make sure I make. And obviously people only get their makeup done at the weekend. So I was like flat out trying to make money at that. And then I started social media when I was like 18. So it's like 9 years ago, when social media wasn't really a thing. Again, it wasn't a job. And then when I was making money from it, people were like, that's not a stable job. So I always have a plan B, because I've always been told I'm not in a stable job. So I'll never just have one.
I'll
never just have one job. I always have a million things going at once. And I'll never, people are like, why don't you just stop doing makeup? I'm like, don't know, but that's why.
So
I always have to have, because I've always been told I don't have stable jobs.
Not stable.
You're waiting for one of them to fall through. So because you've been told they'll fall through. So you have to have the backup ones.
I've always got a million.
And you've never had a reason to think that they're actually going to fall through, because you do incredible. So
the
only reason that's what I'm saying. The only reason that you have to believe that one of them is going to not do well is because people have told you that. It's not because something that's happened to you.
No, it is also like the way. So I remember, I have 2 kids. Obviously, my kids are 1 and Winter just turned 4. But I'm more concerned about the things that Winter hears, because she's. Do you know, by the time, I don't know if I've said it on this podcast, by the time a girl is 4, they are aware of their body and their weight, and it's like so scary as a mum of a daughter to be like, I really will, like, I'm trying to protect her so much from having any forms of eating disorders or disordered eating or body dysmorphia, or even just like not doing anything but absolutely love and appreciate her body for more than its aesthetic. And so the things you think about with a child that age, what they hear, they believe everything at face value. They don't understand sarcasm. They don't know what that is. They don't understand you like saying something that isn't true, then going, I'm only joking. They're like, but is it like that? You know, like if you tell them about Santa, you tell them about the Easter Bunny, you tell them about all these things, and they believe that face value. So if you tell them they're stupid, they'll grow up believing that they're stupid. If you tell them that they're bold, that they've done something wrong, that they're bold, they've been bold, their personality's bold, they will grow up thinking, I'm the naughty one. And they'll feed into their behaviour. I'm the bold one, I'll do the bold thing. You know, out in the group of friends in the street, one of us has to knock that I'll do it, I'm the bold one. You know, and those things that they hear really form who they become, because they take everything at face value when they're that age. And I am so careful with the words that I use in front of Winter.
It's so hard being a parent.
Because you can't
you
navigate
have to be
what
so
other
aware
people do.
of what you're saying and what other people are saying around your child, and you're forming a human.
Like I never let anyone talk about weight, or the word fat is banned in my house. Like I will never lie. And then people say stuff like that in front of her, and I'm all, oh, you being thick, like please. We're in an era now where there's so much information out there. Like don't say stuff like that to her tiny wee impressionable brain.
You're trying to control what you can, and it's scary of all the external factors.
That's it. And you obviously just want to, because even like we were just away on a wee family trip there, and she'd collected a snail. Like that wasn't alive. It was like a shell, you know. But there was you could see the snail inside it that was no longer with us. And R.I.P. But at least he was housed. And he came. She brought him home from the beach, and what she did is her and her cousin, like, they opened up a cereal box, and they were drawing like bedrooms and all. They're making him a wee house, and they were putting like wee tissues in from the sleep on, and they were like playing a wee game and really morbid, like a sweet dead snail. They were just like moving him around room to room and lifting him up and down the stairs and all. But the cousin was older, and she was like playing a wee game with her, and she was like, whenever she was turning away, she was moving the snail and going, oh, the snail's moved, like a snail's moved. And then I was taken up to bed a wee while later, and she was holding me, did that snail really move on its own? And I was like, no, they're only messing. And then she was like, but will the snail come up here when I'm sleeping? And we had to go down, get the snail and put it outside and lock the door for her to go, the snail's gone out of our house, he's not going to come up and get me in my sleep.
It's the wee things that you don't even think that would maybe play in her mind, that then you go, oh my goodness, I wouldn't have even thought of that.
Something will happen in our house, and 3 days later she'll go, did I really break the laptop whenever it fell or something? You're all, what? Like something, you know, it maybe like just dropped off the sofa and it made a bang. You go, oh, jeepers, and you left it and you go, oh, it's great. And then it'll play in her head for days. Like it's, you know, it's those wee impressionable things. But it's even like throughout, you know, even your early years and your teenage years, like all of us have been told things about who we are and who we're supposed to be.
Yeah.
And like in my school as a grammar school, I was told, you're academic, you should go do law. And I would have done that had somebody not fucking intervened.
Yeah.
Could you imagine me as a lawyer? I only thought it would be like legally blonde.
What would everyone be doing if you followed your initial career path?
A lawyer.
Barrister. That right up until my 5th year interviews with my dad and my teachers in front of me, where I finally broke the news, like, I don't want to do this anymore. And I was screamed at, not by my dad, he was somewhat disappointed probably, but my teachers made me cry. You're going to waste yourself. And as soon as I mentioned that I want to go to tech to do beauty therapy or makeup, my school didn't look at me. I had to figure out how I was going to tech myself. The career advice was gone. The second, I mean, they screamed at me. And I look and now, thank fuck, imagine me sitting in a law office.
What did you do?
I'd be so bored.
Communication management and PR, so I would have been working in like a PR firm.
So can you imagine, instead of sitting here right now, a radio presenter, a comedian, a wig stylist, makeup artist, social media star, content creator, social media star, we would be 2 lawyers, well, a lawyer and a barrister, working in a PR firm and a primary school teacher.
Fabulous
That's,
jobs.
Great jobs, but
Fabulous
just such a different
jobs,
path is what I'm
so
saying.
different.
Those people.
And that's why, like, if things don't pan out the way you plan initially, like, it's so easy to say whenever you're out the other side of it, but if you're going through the trenches right now and like something that you really wanted didn't pan out, like, it's gonna be okay. I know that's so naff and so cheesy, but it's so important to remember.
If it's not okay, it's not the end. That's like one of my favourite quotes. When you're feeling shit, you're like, this isn't over yet.
Do you know what
it's
I
gonna
hate
be
though?
okay.
Sorry, that is lovely, but do you know what I hate? What's for you won't go by. You're all, well, it fucking did the other day. It headed on.
And it's always like, you know, when you're single, they're like, it'll come when you least expect it, and you're like, fuck off.
Like on that, I'd love to share one that a girl sent on to us on our girls group chat Instagram, and because we did a wee shout out, and I'll just briefly, because I think it's lovely. She says she met the love of my life in the 2nd year of university on a random night out that I wasn't supposed to be on. We hit it off, and within a week I met his brother. And we went on a few dates. I think she meant I met his brother. She didn't go on dates with his brother.
The original guy.
Yeah, she just like met his family. Fast forward a month later, I got rejected by him because of the distance, and he was at a different university a way away. After a long time of dating disasters and being stood up, I spent time on my own and found so much comfort in being on my own. Every time he came back home to Liverpool, we met up for coffee and shared what's been going on in our lives and stayed really close. Eventually, those coffee dates became few to none, and we grew far apart. Last summer I was on Hinge, and there he was, and he reached out, and turns out he's moved back to Liverpool. After a few dates we became official, and we're very happy, and he's the best thing that's ever happened to me. So with that said, rejection actually taught me to find love in myself, and having someone wasn't the be all and end all.
Love.
Isn't that great?
Love
Where
that.
she was like, I can exist without him, but we were supposed to be together in the end, and that
she
reminded
had to figure herself out first.
But if they had got together at the start, they probably wouldn't have
worked out.
Stayed.
They wouldn't have worked out.
Yeah.
They were it was like like normal people.
Yeah.
Where they just keep, it's not right
Keep
time, it's
missing
not
each
right
other.
time, it's not the right time until it's the right time.
Yeah.
And it can be this really long love story.
Oh, that is such a convo for another time. Like the times like breakups broke your heart and you came out the other end.
Yeah.
How you had to be in the right place to meet your current partner. Like that's,
Oh my God, yes.
that's like a dissertation.
Yeah,
The only thing
yeah.
I want to say at the end of this episode, so we don't have like a Molly May moment of like everyone has the same 24 hours in the day. Obviously, like we're speaking from a privileged position of people
aye.
who like, you know, have had time to work on ourselves and our crafts and like work in our dream careers, and we just sort of acknowledge we're really lucky, because I don't want anyone hearing like, if you want it hard enough you'll get it, you know, and they're maybe in like a really hard time.
Circumstances are completely different.
Yeah, it's that thing like we all have 24 hours in a day, but Beyonce's 24 hours are different
Very
to our
different.
24
Than
hours.
everyone else
Yeah.
is different.
Just throw that out
Who was
there.
it initially said that? Kim Kardashian?
I don't know, but also please don't get yourself in loads of debt.
Yeah, literally all that there.
In order to get rejected in Dairy Girls.
Look after yourself and your mental health, and keep chipping away at the things that you love. Everything will work out okay.
Also, please comment below on our YouTube episode of this podcast. We love getting a wee catchphrase
do.
below. If you're new to the Girls Group Chat podcast, hello, thanks for coming. We love to have you. Let's comment below this week. Rejection is redirection.
100%.
Preach. See you next time.
See you next
Bye.
time.